Do you have a specific rank you think all coaches below this rank should get kicked if you can't reach top 200?
적어도
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, that's okay. We can reach that. Hello, everyone, and welcome to VCT Pacific's Timeout. We have some of the greatest minds that we have in VCT Pacific here today joining us, and we are going to hear everything from behind the scenes on what it's like to be a coach, what does it take, and maybe some fun stories here and there as well. You're already giving me some looks of doubt, so we'll see if it's actually fun or not, but we'll get there. So today we're going to be discussing just, kind of getting insight into what is it like to be a coach, what does it take, what are some experiences you've had, and also just want to assure you, obviously, we're not here to try to uncover your playbook and all your strats, so don't worry about that. So before we start, just in case for our fans, if we can just go around, say your name and your team, just a quick introduction.
So I'm Carlão, head coach for ZETA division.
I'm Evan, or Warbirds, and I'm the head coach for Team Secret.
저는 DFM 감독 아스텔이라고 합니다.
Hello, I'm Autumn from T1.
Ewok from RQ.
Awesome. So to get started, I know this is probably a very basic question that you get asked often whenever you have a chance, but what is the role of a coach? And maybe you have different opinions, but I think a lot of fans are always curious, what does a coach actually do? Or, what does it take to become a coach? Warbirds?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I was going to say Ewok.
I can tell that you're trying to escape my eyes.
I mean, I think the big thing is it's to elevate the players and to just try to get as much out of them as possible. Everyone here has really high ceilings, so just trying to extract as much of that as possible. It's not about you taking credit or elevating yourself, it's about elevating others.
I agree with him. I think when you push players to the potential that they don't even know they have is when you can bring everything that a coach needs to bring to the table. So I'm 100% with Warbirds.
I think all of our jobs are very different, but under the same name. I think it's very much depending on the team, what the team needs. And that's kind of what you fill. If it's the roster gets started by the coach and everything, that you can kind of align how it needs to be. And then there's different ways. All of us kind of came in at different times with the roster. Some have a stronger hand in it than others. So then I feel like the job is very different depending on your team.
코치들이 또 여러 명 있다고 생각하는데 어떤 팀에도 근데 헤드 코치잖아요. 그래서 좀 팀을 하나로 만들 수 있는 그런 이끌 수 있는 능력이 필요하다고 생각하고 그런 부분을 열심히 하고 있는 느낌이라고 생각해요.
For me, it's a leader who should make a decision and who should take a responsibility about that.
Okay, I want to ask a question where we can use our X's and O's panel, so use these panels. But the question is, do you think vibes are the most important in leading a team as a coach? So do you think getting very personally close, right, and becoming like a friend or a family with your players is important, or do you rather keep a little distance with your players? If you would be a brother, then O. If not, if you're like coach is coach, players are players, then X, okay? 1, 2, and 3. Ooh.
I'm in the middle, though.
You're in the, no middle.
No
so you
middle?
can only
This is like this, but have some points.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you had to choose, you
I'll
lean
choose this
more.
one for sure.
Okay, let's start with the O's.
Yeah, I think it's not the most important part of the job because at the end of the day, you have to be the guy that go hard on them every time and request them to do the best. But at the same time, you have to understand them, not just players, persons. Understanding players leads you to take better decisions.
Yeah, I would agree with Carlão, where you want to make sure they're happy and healthy, but at the same time, you have to push them. And that's kind of why I was in the middle of
I tend to agree as well. Leading with empathy is very important. If you're just a drill sergeant, it's sometimes hard to appeal to the emotional side. They're not just robots playing the game. I'm doing it in a genuine way, not just being, I'm gonna be nice to you that I can get more out of you. I feel like that part's really important.
Sure.
코치들은 그래도 선수들한테 조금은 거리 조절이 필요하다고는 생각해요. 너무 편해지기만 해도 선수들은 그래도 어린 친구들도 많고 그래서 좀 말을 안 듣는 경향이 생기거나 할 수도 있는데 그래도 팀 전체적인 분위기는 좀 더 패밀리하게 가는 게 다들 연습을 그저 일이라고만 생각하지 않고 즐겁게 하면서 다들 열심히 할 수 있는 그런 느낌이 되지 않나 생각하고 있습니다.
Autumn, you said no. Why would you rather kind of keep it a strict division?
Honestly, I really want to be a family and make a good relationship with them. But before that, so I think priority feeling should be the real respect as a human being. I don't think if I have a good relationship as a like brother, I don't think I can have real genuine respect from them because they should consider me like more familiar.
One other thing that I think a lot of people are always curious about when it comes to coaches is, so what do you actually do like outside of the game, like outside of match day, right? Because on match day, we see you, right? And the players, we always hear them talk about, well, I had to like do the scrim, or they're streaming, or they're talking about playing solo queue. But okay, so during scrims, obviously, I'm sure you guys are involved in the scrims as well. But outside of that, what are coaches usually doing as part of your job? And maybe it's different amongst you guys.
At least for me, it's like most things, like whether it's, you know, trying to get people to go out and chill. We used to have Friday night game nights, so we'd get done with scrims and we'd all play a game together. Or I'd do a lot of our data analytics, game analysis, or that kind of thing. So it stretches the game. It's like, oh, making sure that people are happy and healthy, but also making sure that we're still doing something with their time.
I like to watch games of VALORANT, so I can study like VALORANT a lot. And like also have my time to see what's going on inside our practices and like inside our like matches to see like how I can make this look better.
Very much similar, trying to identify if there's certain things that is not going as well as expected, things that we need to focus on tomorrow's practice so we can fix problems before they become too big, whether that be between players, in-game, whatever. Like that's, the buck stops with you and you have that responsibility. If the team goes boom, it's you. And then, yeah, just trying to watch as many games as possible. I only play the game if I'm trying to test something. I don't really test the game if I'm trying to test a new agent.
That's like a really big thing is like people are saying like, oh, coaches need to play at a super high level. I don't think the majority of the coaches even, like we don't have time to play.
Yeah,
No,
Like we don't,
Yeah.
like we're working pretty much like 24/7 like on the game.
This begs a curious question of mine. A big part of people saying that is they're like, well, you need to play at a high level. You need to play at like a high rank to understand the game, right? What do you think is the realistic, like, well, you should probably at least, if you have the time, like reach X level. Is there something like that? Or do you think like, no, that just doesn't matter at all for coaching? There's other ways that you can really excel.
Some of the best coaches I know have not even played the game before or play less than 10 games.
It depends what type of coach you are, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to teach mechanics, I would sure hope that you're a
exactly.
right? But it can teach you maybe the way that you're entering is wrong, your pathing is wrong, maybe this angle's bad. So I feel like you need to know what are you bringing to the team.
But outside of that, not as crucial in terms of.
I think most people can hit a mortal pretty easily.
80%, 90% of our viewers are crying right now.
Yeah. Well, like, if you put in the time, you can get there. And I think a lot of coaches like understand the game really well fundamentally. That any coach then could probably get a mortal.
If you had the time.
If you had the time, exactly.
저는 원래 코치하기 전에 선수였기 때문에
네.
언제든지 레디언트 찍을 수 있어서 그래서 다른 감독님들도 어느 정도 티어가 높아야 그래서 게임 보는 눈이 생기고 그런다고 생각하거든요. 뭐 이런 각에서 이런 식으로 싸우면 유리한지 불리한지 그런 유불리를 자기 자신이 알 수 있는 그 정도의 실력은 되어야 된다고 생각하고 있습니다.
Do you have a specific rank you think all coaches below this rank should get kicked if you can't reach top 200?
적어도 임모탈 1.
Oh, that's smart.
Real good. Yeah, that's okay. We can reach that.
What's your
Okay.
I haven't hit more.
Okay. Oh, that's the reason I'm not a coach. I see. We've talked a little bit about like different styles and whatnot, and I'm curious: is there a coach that you like absolutely respect?
In my point, I respect all of them because I know how hard it is to get to that point that we are.
I really respect everyone because I already know all the Pacific teams have the progress and everyone make every team looks better and better. So I really respect them, everyone.
Is there a specific one?
Yeah, if you had to give an award,
Yeah.
let's say it's an award, not like necessarily more respect, other than yourself.
he ain't giving that up.
I was telling Autumn just before that I'm really curious and kind of fascinated by the moves that they made. And it looks like the roster is coming together well. And I think that is usually a sign of a good coach of that can bring these guys together. So until I see more under the hood, but for now, you can take award.
Wow. Okay, playing a little politics on this table. Okay.
저도 모든 감독님들을 존중하고 있고 제가 좀 그래도 코치 경력도 아마 가장 적을 것이고 해서 모든 감독님들 리스펙하고 존경하는데 그중에서도 저는 어떤 감독님들
Wow, Autumn, what's going on there?
전에 T1에 있던 원치킨 선수한테 그냥 여러모로 들은 게 있는데 좀 팀의 방향성을 잘 모아서 잘 이끌어 나가 주시는 그런 좀 리더십 같은 부분에서 되게 리스펙하고 있습니다.
I'll give my trophy to MCE. I think every single game he's touched, like Cloud9 guard, I think he did a really good job with them. You know, a lot of them were either built from the ground up or like that he had a major hand in it. So I think definitely him.
Okay.
He's pretty good.
Who's the one you like the least?
You?
Oh, is that how we get spicy takes? Okay. Which coach? No, I'm least favorite coach. I'm curious, this is kind of a personal question, but is there anything, or what is the most kind of annoying thing that you often hear casters say about like your team or the play? Is there anything that's, and you can be real, because I'm a caster, so I'll take it. I'll be the representative.
I'll go for. I don't. It's not.
Everyone had a reaction back. He's so ready.
I know.
You always do this.
Yeah, he's like, I can't wait to tell
It's not specifically casters, but there's like this whole narrative of like Vash is so old or whatever, or like old core, and it's like, bro, like Vash does so much for the team, and it's so tilting to see people just berate him all the time. I remember someone posted something where it was like, oh, if you're above the age of 20, that's when you start to fall off. It's like, what? Like, no. Yeah.
No, we definitely focus on that a little too much as well. We'll take
I know you guys talk a little bit about like the age, but it's like, it's more the community is
yeah. Autumn, you had some strong reactions when I mentioned it. Does it ever annoy you if casters say like, well, they got lucky here?
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, this is hard, man.
Pretty much everything is planned.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, most of the stuff. If you see an insane setup, most of the time, this is not the first time.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just run most of the things in tournament all of a sudden, oh yeah, nice setup, guys. Or, that Razold was insane, he got so lucky. But meanwhile, there's 4 other guys using their util to try and set him up, right? But of course, it's also, if you're not in the server and you don't see the prep, you'll never know.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to tell.
Yeah.
gamble stacks aren't a gamble. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah,
it's
they are.
generally from like tendency.
Yeah, like a lot of it is like, oh, okay, like they typically like to hit this site. Everything is like planned in advance. So.
All right, so I will delete the words lucky and gamble out of my vocabulary for future casts.
You can give credit to like anyone.
Yeah. Let's do a quick X and O question on the roster build. Okay, so you have the opportunity to pick one of 2 players as a new recruit, okay? So your new addition is either O, if you would pick the super cracked Jet, but they just never comm. They say nothing in the comms. Or X, if you're picking the guy who just reads the game, he's making all the comms, he's got big brain lineups, etc., but he's dropping like 3-4 kills a game.
Oh.
All right, O for the Jet, X for the big brain. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, he's changed after
Yeah, because of 3 kills is insane, man. It's impossible. Yeah.
I was also leading
Yeah.
3 every game?
Okay. Well, Astell, you still chose the big brain. I want to hear your thoughts.
우선 3킬은 말이 안 돼요. 3킬은 말이 안 되고
Okay, so
적어도
3's ridiculous.
3킬은 말이 안 되고 뭐 10킬, 12킬 정도 해준다고 치면 한 게임당 그래도 더 유리한 각을 만들어주고 팀이 더 잘 싸울 수 있도록 해줄 수 있기 때문에 팀 전체에 대한 영향력을 생각해서는 IGL이 중요하다고 생각했어요.
For me, I've always historically felt like I can teach players how to like use their brains or like calm more or that kind of thing, and I've always found it harder to like make people play mechanically better. Like if they already have the mechanic, I feel like it's a lot easier to teach them like the fundamentals and that kind of thing. That's how I've always felt, at least.
We have so many good duelists and skilled players in Brazil, but finding that IGL, that guy that can like be more team effort, is hard.
But not 3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 is the same. It's the same. I can do that.
But counterpoint, it's a gun game. So if you get shot, you
in the
die.
head.
Yeah.
So like,
So for me, that's it. I think this point is also that there's no right or wrong because
yeah,
that's it.
there's no wrong answer.
Yeah,
Like,
you can have all the reads in
just
the
give me
world.
both.
I want to now bring this back to kind of more like match day stuff. One of the first things that fans get to see that coaches do is obviously the map draft. Do you think a game can be won or lost simply because of map veto? 1, 2, and 3. What are our answers?
Nowadays, I don't think like any team in the franchise go to a match that didn't know how it's going to be the draft. if you really like make a bad draft, you can ruin that. But I don't think like any team makes bad drafts anymore.
맵 밴핑은 되게 중요하다고 저도 생각을 하고요. 저희가 예상한 밴픽대로 나오면 또 굉장히 게임을 편하게 할 수 있을 거고, 그리고 선수들의 자신감에서도 난 이 맵이 좋아, 저 맵이 좋아, 그리고 이 맵은 싫어, 그렇게 됐는데 싫어하는 맵 하면 자신감도 부족해서 발로란트는 역시 좀 자신감이 되게 중요하다고 생각해가지고 총싸움 이기는 게 가장 중요하기 때문에 결국에 자신감 있게 할 수 있도록 하는 게 중요한 것 같습니다.
So then the next thing that we get to see from the coaches is obviously after the walkout, you guys have huddles. How important is this huddle, and what do you normally talk about during this team huddle?
In my perspective, everything that we need to prepare the team, we do like before the match. Right there is more to have a moment, everybody like together as a team right there before start.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just like the focus of the match. So like I try to get them hyped up. So like, for example, versus ZETA, it was like, oh, they knocked us out of LCQ. I'm upset about it. Like, we just lost to Gen G. We're all mad. Let's take it out on them. Or like, you know, just like a focus point of like where they can direct all their energy to. For me, it helps out a lot.
For me, I really think that timing is very important. So I always think about what I have to say through the night, before the match. Really?
Really? Okay.
Actually.
Nice. Yeah.
경기 시작 전에 진짜 좀 마음을 다잡을 수도 있고 팀원을 믿고 서로 믿으면서 만약에 뭐 불리하게 시작을 하더라도 끝까지 믿고 열심히 끝까지 하자는 얘기를 많이 해주는데
Right now I had to just like stay on some Japanese words like ganbatte.
So we actually have a sequence of rapid fire questions that we want to ask you guys. And for this, basically we'll just make rounds and you're going to give me your answers, right? Okay, so first is, this is on your own team. We'll start with you, Carlão. Who is the fastest learner?
Yuran.
Probably NDG.
아는
X-Straight?
Chimkin.
Mostly a lot of the newer players, it seems like, that are joining in. Okay, now who is the most like wild cannon? They're most likely to just go off on their own and go out of the plan.
Tell me more.
Rossi?
메디우사.
Probably Borkham.
Dab.
But in a good way.
But in a good way. Okay. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, because
It's not a negative thing.
Yeah,
It's
Sure.
like a positive.
Yeah. It's not that they're losing it, but
Yeah, they try to find like their timing or make their play.
Yeah.
who is the most likely to come to you for life advice, like outside of the game?
Yuran. Yuran or Hero Run.
The younger
Yeah,
guys.
the younger ones.
Probably NDG.
메이?
Saya?
2G.
For May, is it like a personality thing or?
이때까지 같이 계속 해왔기 때문에 3년 동안 같은 팀을 해왔기 때문에 그런 부분에서 메이를
What about for you, for 2G?
Even though 2GE is on the bench with us at the moment, but it's not like it's an easy role and he's just sitting back relaxing. He is also still working really hard. So for him, it's something about keeping his mentality strong as well and seeing how he can help the team also in different ways.
As short as possible, ideally one word, what is the most important quality in a player?
Professionalism.
패션?
Yeah.
I'm a similar. I was gonna say drive.
Okay.
So
There's
very
kind of
similar.
passion,
Yeah,
drive. Yeah. Okay.
Professionalism.
Okay.
Understanding.
Of each other or of the game?
Oh,
Oh, everything.
everything. Yeah.
That's a good answer. We have a bit of a split. So like professionalism and drive and passion. Now, obviously they're not mutually exclusive, but sometimes they can clash, right? Like sometimes for the guys who chose professionalism, I mean, why is that? Why would you favor that just a bit more?
Because in my point of view, because I'm from Brazil, we already have passion. But I think like the best of the world is like they both combined. So,
Sure.
yeah.
For me, the professionalism involves everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's why.
Cool. Well, it's great to hear all the insight. Now, before we go, we do have a small mini game prepared, and it's called Timeout or Not. All right, so we have a few clips prepared for you guys. And we'll take a look. It's not the entire round, but just with the information you have, the question is would you call a timeout or not? And here on this one, we're going to be looking at the attacking team.
Seconds left.
The timing on this is everything that sees to swing out, but Zaz somehow getting two. Seems like it might be bonus back, but why is he with the counter punch? Yosemite with another in control for BLG.
Got his nade back too, so allows for this plant to go in, but it's a safe plant. They cannot commit to playing post plant from Mound.
A divided attempt at taking the site back as they approach it from two fronts. Rin tucked in the corner. Do you check it? Yes, you do. Even crouch, nothing converted. Yosemite's gonna have to do it by himself. Let's get down to a 1v1. Time on Yosemite's side is Mako playing swing around the Rosie. trying to find the timing. No idea of what's on the other side, and Mako
As
reads it well.
the coach for this round, would you call the timeout here or not? 1, 2, 3. Astell would. Let's hear from Astell first.
전 상황을 잘 모르긴 하는데 결국에 우선 C를 잘 들어왔고 좋은 셋업으로 들어와서 3대2가 된 상황에서부터가 문제라고 생각하는데 사이트 안에서 저기 설치 위치에 그대로 숨어 있었잖아요. 근데 저 자리가 트레이드 내기도 되게 힘들고 찍샷 당해서 그냥 죽는 자리인데도 저기서 그냥 아무것도 안 하고 있다가 트레이드도 제대로 안 되고 그냥 다들 쫄아 있단 말이에요. 근데 또 저희 팀 특성상 저희는 이번에 앤썸 빼고는 다 퍼시픽으로 처음 온 친구들이고 대회 도중에 좀 긴장한다든지 그리고 쫄아 있다든지 그런 부분에서 저런 플레이가 충분히 나올 수가 있다고 생각해서 연습 때는 절대 저런 경우가 안 나오거든요. 3대2에서. 근데 분명 대회에서 저런 경우가 나온다면 저는 바로 타임을 걸고 너네 너무 쫄아 있다. 그런 매크로적인 부분에서보다도 3대3이나 3대2 같은 소인원전 이기는 게 가장 중요하니까 그런 부분에서 좀 더 자신감 있게 했으면 좋겠다라고 할 것 같습니다.
For everyone else, you guys said you wouldn't call a timeout. Where are you coming from?
I assume it's later into the round. If it was earlier into the round, with the amount of util, then you're walking into the site and the defending team knowing that it was C, the macro was definitely not good. The way how they entered the site was not good, but I think it's not that bad. They could have used a little bit of better util, but they'll most likely know it.
All right, let's try another clip. So this time, you are once again the attacking team.
It's going to make this retake just that much more doable. Finally unleashed. Flash round the side. Taking the fight straight to them, and they're going to be favored. Positioning, it's not good. Cryo constantly having to adjust. He's finding his way. One more down. Still falls to 4.
Do you call the timeout? 1, 2, 3. Okay, nobody.
It's you won a clutch, which means the momentum swung super heavy in your favor. It just looked like they were just ult dumping, so it's like even if you lost the round, it's like okay, they just like lost all of their ults. Like I don't think you would need to, in all honesty.
There had to have been something else very extreme wrong behind the scenes.
In the setup, yeah.
I think it's sabotage if you call a timeout here. I think you're giving them a timeout.
Yeah,
You're throwing
100%.
if you're...
So for the last couple of minutes, again, I want to leave this open for you guys to maybe ask each other questions. Do you guys have any questions that you have for each other, or something that you've always wondered about each other or each other's career, teams, things like that?
I wanted to ask Autumn. Earlier you mentioned that your team now versus last year, it's more energy and there's more comms. How do you feel like that affects the in-game performance? The reasoning why I'm asking is because last year for us, we used to be more depending on that energy and we used to be more high energy. And this year we feel like we play better when we're a little bit more calm.
This year, I want to pick Iju on this team, and I really think he has a really good talent, but he's very young. Probably for him and for this team, his growth is very important. So I just realized for his good vibe through the season, we'd better set good team chemistry and energy for him. And I really think it affects really well for him. And it can be really good snowballing to others too, like especially like Carpe. Recently, I can see his passion and hunger for everything is much better than last year. So it's up to the team's roster. Yeah.
Interesting.
I had a question for you. For Genji specifically. Yeah, I know. This might come out a little toxic at the start, but so like your last 3 matches, you lost to Genji very like barely, right? Coming out and going into stage 1, is that more of like a motivator or is that like a hindrance almost? Because like for us, before me, like we had always lost to Paper X. So a lot of our drive was for like, oh, we have to beat Paper X, we have to beat Paper X. Is that something similar or is that different for you?
So the first series we played last year, I felt like it wasn't winnable. After the game, it's not like we should have won. I felt like they were better.
Okay.
Second time we played last season, I felt like we were better, but still over the long run in terms of map pool, still they were better.
Okay.
First series this time around, I feel like we should have closed it 2-0, but last map went in their favor 13-8. So map pool, they had us. And then the final series, it felt like we made that extra step. The last map, we should have converted and we should have gone 2-1, which I feel like we've made improvement from series to series to series. It's more of a logical next step. This is what we expect from ourselves. Next time we play, we convert.
Okay.
Yeah.
좀 모두한테 묻고 싶은 게 있는데 선수들이 막 페이퍼렉스 따라하고 싶다 막 그런 얘기하는 선수 없는지.
Of course. The Indonesian background.
They're friends.
When I arrive here, same talk.
Really? Okay.
I mean, for us, it's like we don't play that kind of style. Like we play a lot more structured. So for us, not really.
I'm curious, Astell, why did you ask that? Is that something you have to discuss with your players a lot, or?
아니 그냥 가끔씩 나오는 얘기인데 뭐 우리도 되게 페이퍼렉스처럼 뭐 자유롭게 하자 막 그러고 하는데 제가 또 가끔씩 말하는 게 쟤네는 페이퍼렉스니까 저렇게 할 수 있는 거다. 우리도 뭐 하려면 할 수 있겠지만 지금은 아니다. 그런 식으로 얘기를 하고.
So as we are about to say our farewells to our fans, I just want to give everyone a chance. So we'll just take our turns going around. We'll start with you, Ewok.
Yeah, it's always fun to be able to do something like this because there's a lot of things that is very sensitive to the nature of our job. So then to be able to discuss things and understand their perspective as well, I think it's important to hear the other opinions.
For me, it's really meaningful time. We probably have mutual respect, even we don't know them deeply. So this time was really helpful for me to understand these guys more and more. And for fans, I really think their supporting is always awesome. And for all the Pacific fans, as they can know through this time, all the teams have a really good direction and good leadership. Probably our Pacific League will be better and better. Obviously, all the Pacific teams' goal is getting international trophy. So yeah, we can do that together.
네, 이런 자리에 불러주셔서 너무 감사드리고 우선 다른 감독님들의 생각을 이렇게 들어볼 수 있어서 너무 좋았던 자리인 것 같고 저도 많은 공부가 된 것 같기도 해서 정말 좋았던 것 같고 네, 앞으로도 DFM 많이 응원해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
As Ewok kind of said, we don't really talk that much because of the nature of our job and how secretive it kind of is. So it's really cool to be able to like understand each other and hear each other out and get to know each other. And a lot of that is done through the fans. So a big thank you to them. Otherwise, this wouldn't happen.
Yeah, for me, the same thing. Like, it's not normal to have times like this with everybody. So having this time was like really good. I'm new here, so it's good to know like everybody here because I respect everybody so much. Thank for all the fans from Japan that is like insane support for me. They send like a lot of like good messages for me that I hope I can show in a really good ZETA this year, that they like it and they can enjoy seeing us playing. So just thank for them for everything that they are doing to me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for all of you guys. For all of you watching from home, hope you enjoyed this content as we get just a bit more insight to how these teams work and what work the coaches are putting in alongside the players. If you are interested in finding new teams to root for, of course, VCT Pacific Stage 1 will be kicking off soon. So you'll get to meet all these teams and, of course, our lovely coaches on stage soon for VCT Pacific Stage 1. We'll see you then. Is this a round where you say you idiots?
Okay. You idiots only comes at the start of the round.
Okay.
The start of the match. If I have to time out around 3, I'm like,
okay.